Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is IELTS Reading Test, and today we will be doing test number 9 and passage number 3. So our questions are: fill in the blanks, choose no more than 3 words from the passage for each answer. Write your answer in the boxes 31 to 40 on your answer sheet. Name, telepathy experiments, name date, Gansfeld Studies 1982. Description, results and flaw. Involved a person acting as a dash. So we will have to study and read the passage, the paragraph in which 1982 will be mentioned. So in paragraph number 3, it is mentioned here 1982. So we will read this paragraph from the starting and look forward where it will be mentioned. Involved a person acting as a. The Gansfeld experiment tries to recreate these conditions with participants sitting in soft reclining chair in a sealed room, listening to relaxing sounds while their eyes are covered with special filters, letting in only soft pink light. In early Gansfeld experiments, the telepathy test involved identification of a person chosen from a random selection of 4 taken from a large image bank. The idea was that a person acting as a sender. So, the answer to the first fill in the blank, number 31, is sender. Number 32, who picked out one dash? Okay, now we will read from where we skipped. Sender who attempt to beam the image over to the receiver, relaxing in the sealed room. We will again start the paragraph. The Gansfeld experiment tries to recreate these conditions with participants sitting in soft reclining chairs in a sealed room, listening to relaxing sound while their eyes are covered with special filters, letting in only soft pink light. In early Gansfeld experiments, the telepathy test involved identification of a picture. Identification means to pick out, to recognize a picture. Identification of a picture chosen from a random selection. So picture is the answer of 32 question, like this: who picked out one dash from a random selection of 4 from a random selection. Who test involved identification of a picture chosen from a random selection. So picture is the answer of 32nd question. So picture will be written in the second question's answer. So 33rd question is a random selection of 4 and a dash who then tries to identify it, and a dash who tried to identify it. Random selection of 4 taken from a large image bank. The idea was that a person acting as a sender who would attempt to beam the image over to the receiver, relaxing in the sealed room. So receiver will be written in the third answer. From a random selection of 4 and a dash who then tried to identify it. Who then receiver attempts to beam the image over to the receiver, relaxing in the sealed room. Once the session was over, this person was asked to identify which of the four images. So receiver was asked to identify which of the four images had been used. So receiver will be written in the third answer. Now we will move to the 34th question. Positive results could be produced by factors such as random guessing would give a hit rate of 25% if telepathy is real. However, the hit rate would be higher. In 92, the results from the first Gansfeld studies were analyzed by one of its pioneers, the American parapsychologist Charles Honorton. They pointed to typical hit rates of better than 30%, a small effect but one which statistical tests suggested could not be pushed down to chance. The implication was that the Gansfeld method had revealed real evidence of telepathy, but there was a crucial flaw in this argument. One routinely overlooked in more conventional areas of science. Just because chance had been ruled out as an explanation did not prove telepathy must exist. There were many other ways of getting positive results. These ranged from sensory leakage. Positive cells could be produced by factors such as sensory leakage, where clues about the picture accidentally reach the receiver, to outright fraud. So which two factors? Sensory leakage and outright fraud. So we will write sensory leakage. We are not allowed to write more than 3 words in the blank, and the second one is outright fraud. So now we will move forward to the next question, 36. Otto Gansfeld studies 1987. Dash were used for key tasks to limit the amount of dash were used. Now we will study and read the paragraph in which 1987 will be mentioned. 1987 is mentioned in this paragraph. After this, many researchers wished to Otto Gansfeld test an automated variant of the technique which used computers to perform many of the key tasks. So computers are the answer of 36th question, which were used for key tasks which were used to perform key tasks such as the random selection of image, limit the amount of dash, random selection of images by minimizing human involvement. So human involvement will be written. In carrying out the test, by minimizing human involvement, the idea was to minimize the risk of flawed results. So human involvement is the right answer. Now we will see the next question. The results were then subjected to a dash. In 1987, results from hundreds of Otto Gansfeld tests were studied by Honorton in a meta-analysis, a statistical technique. Meta-analysis. The results were then subjected to a meta-analysis, a statistical technique for finding the overall results from a set of studies. So meta-analysis will be written in 38th question. The dash between different test results was put down to the fact that sample groups were not dash. The dash between different test results. So we will read from where we left. A statistical technique for finding the overall results from a set of studies, though less compelling than before, the outcome was still impressive. Yet some parapsychologists remain disturbed by the lack of consistency between individual Gainesville studies. The dash between different test results was put down to the fact that sample groups were not dash. Parapsychologists remain disturbed by the lack of consistency between individual Gainesville studies. So lack of consistency is the right answer between different test results. Between individual Gainesville studies, defenders of telepathy point out that demanding impressive evidence from every study ignores one basic statistical fact. Groups were not put down to the fact that groups were not dash, as with most Gainesville studies. Defenders of telepathy point out that demanding impressive evidence from every study ignores one basic statistical fact. It takes large samples to detect small effects. If a current sample, we found the word sample. Sample group were not dash. Sample groups were not dash. It takes large samples to detect small effects. It means it takes large samples, but here were not dash, as with most Gainesville studies. So if a current result suggests telepathy produce hit rates only marginally above the 25% expected by chance, it's unlikely to be detected by a typical Gainesville study involving around 40 people. The group is just not big enough. The group were not big enough or large enough. So this is the